So just now at work, I had quite an interesting conversation with a couple of friends, and they were like, "Oh, Ben, I wish I could be as disciplined as you." And I was like, "What?" And I was thinking about like discipline. I was like, I don't feel disciplined. What does that mean? And they were like, "Well, you seem to do the things which, are working to your goals." I was like, "No, I don't. What? I don't have goals. Like, what does that mean? I just do the things that I want to do." They were like, "Oh yeah, you write your diary, you go to the gym, you do meditation, all that." I'm like, but I just do them because I like them. What? And it's got me thinking. I think that it's such a huge myth. Discipline, people think of it as doing something you don't want to do, and I really don't think anyone ever does anything that they don't want to do for a long time. You can't keep it up and maintain energy for it. For anything to have longevity, you need to really enjoy it. I guess this conversation in some ways brought me a bit down to earth somewhat. Because from a subjective basis, discipline seems to be something I struggle with in some ways. I suppose discipline, if we define it as, Chogyam Trungpa defined it as, the true discipline is to be who you really are. And for me, I translate that as to not do the things that fuck you over. To not shield yourself from the world, To really surrender to the world, to surrender to your innermost desires. And I suppose in some ways all struggle is exactly that. Is a struggle with discipline, right? Because any difficulty you have is a tension, is a saying no to the natural flow of things. And the natural flow of things is the expression of your innermost desire, is who you really are. Yes, so that means that discipline is nothing more than non-resistance. And so all struggle is discipline. All struggle is a struggle against discipline. That's quite a nice way of putting it, I think. I might say so myself. And it's like, discipline issues come when you're like, oh, I know what my body wants, but I'm just going to go against it. And when you're like, I know this thing is bad for me, but I'm going to do it anyway. That is the discipline. And the thing that I've realised as well, discipline is that in the act of doing something, if you open yourself to your senses at the time, you know whether that thing is good for you or not, or is, I don't want to say good for you, but like, in accordance with the flow of things. And I think if you do something which is, I don't believe that there's a thing which has like short-term benefits, which is enjoyable in the moment, but isn't later. I think there's, in the moment you do it, the action is usually always interlaced. There's some kind of, oh fuck, I shouldn't be doing this, and that dirties the experience. And the more open you are to yourself, it's just the more what you're sensitive to will dictate your experience, and you chime with the natural flow of things. So how discipline really comes about, discipline, again, to recap, being being yourself, which is flowing with the natural, way of things, is to just open. To really open in every moment. Obviously, practicing meditation, all kind of bits and bobs like that, help that process. So I guess for myself, and then for other people as well, I suppose that if you're struggling with discipline, the solution is just to open further, to see what the moment is really, really asking for, because that is always the right thing, and it is always more right, vastly more intelligent than our ideas about it, than our shortcuts and tricks and whatnot, coping strategies. And that takes some kind of courage to actually open to that, to really look, rather than to be like, okay, no, I'm just going to use that rule that I used once before, that worked once before. I've noticed this myself. In the past couple of days I've been feeling kind of down, a bit like sort of tired, depleted, been like I'd eaten too much, I think, coming out of last week's fast, and I just felt like bleh. And in this moment of I'm like, no, my body doesn't want more, but for some reason I'm just gonna eat some more food to like numb whatever it is, and just I was like, oh fuck, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this to myself? I suppose I should be grateful. Should be grateful. I can be grateful. I am grateful that these moments are actually fewer and far betweener than they used to be, and far more fewer and far between than they are for most people. Actually, from speaking to people at work today, I was like, geez, a lot of people, they spend their whole lives doing stuff, or most of their lives doing stuff that they don't really want to do, that's not really like, this is what I want to do, whereas I think I spend a lot of my time doing what I want to do, in terms of meditation, my diary, creating, writing, dancing, gymming, all these things I do on the weekend. It's like people I meet up with and to do things that I want to do, and there's lovely freedom in that. Whereas before I was like, so little of my day is actually enjoyable. So, counting my blessings. Thank you.